Hey guys. Nope. You can do this. All the dishes are dirty. And that was the dumb intro. Hey guys. My name is Kristen. I blog over at 30percentbetter.com and I am here today with one of the articles from my blog. I am a mother, I'm a wife, and I am, during the summers, an EFY teacher. So today I wanted to share with you a blog post that was actually really personal for me and something that I felt like was important to write. And September is actually Suicide Awareness Month, and so I thought, what better time to share this one? So the article that I am going to be sharing is called How I Silenced Overwhelming Feelings of Worthlessness. And I want to share my experience with depression and feelings of worthlessness and feelings of not wanting to be alive. Now, I want to clarify a few things. I never did have suicidal ideations. I didn't ever deal with the temptation to commit suicide, but I certainly was in a place where I felt that the world would be better off without me. And so this was caused by years and years of struggling with a mental illness. I noticed signs of a mental illness first in 2008 when I was pregnant with my first child. And it just kind of exploded from there, and I became seriously mentally ill over the next 7 years. And I didn't have any treatment, I didn't have any help, and I became someone I didn't recognize. I was no longer myself. I really felt like I was a shell of myself. And so OCD kind of stripped me of everything that I was, and I was no longer happy. I was no longer funny. I wasn't looking forward to anything. Every day when I woke up, I wished I didn't have to. And every day when I went to sleep, I was just so excited. I would go to bed at about 7 p.m. because I couldn't wait to just be numb to all of the feelings that overwhelmed me all day. And so years and years and years of this, and of not recognizing myself, of not being able to do the things that I love, not really having friends because I pulled away from the people who were trying to be my friends, it led me into a very deep depression. And this is what you would call situational depression. This wasn't major depression. This wasn't chemical. It was caused by something. And so what I'm going to be sharing with you was how I overcame that situational depression and those feelings of absolute worthlessness that I was filled with by about 2014. I had gotten to a point where I felt like I had absolutely no value in this world. I felt like if I did something, then check. Yes, I added value to someone's life because I did something for them. But outside of performing tasks for people, I felt like I was worth absolutely nothing, because who was I even? I wasn't hardly anyone to anybody. I was not a very good mother. I wasn't a very good wife. I couldn't be a friend to anybody. And so I felt like I had no value. So this was just years and years of this. And again, I didn't experience suicidal ideations, but I wished I could die a natural death. I remember driving down the road, going to Target, and there was a semi-truck coming the other direction. And I remember very vividly thinking, I wish so much that that driver would swerve and hit my car so I could just die. Because I knew I didn't want to do it myself, but I wished it could happen. And so I was dealing with that, and that was very real to me, and that lack of desire to live was very real. And I had read self-help books. I had prayed a lot. I had gone to some therapists occasionally, but nothing had worked. Nothing had helped. I still didn't feel like I was worth anything. I didn't feel like I have any value. And after trying all of these things and not getting better, I thought, well, maybe I really am worthless. Maybe I don't have any value in this world. And so I prayed again, and I kept on praying. And one night I said my prayers, and I sat in my bed and I pulled out my patriarchal blessing. If you are a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you know what that is. If you're not, it's a special blessing that members of the church can receive when, usually people receive it when they're teenagers. And it's kind of like a special blueprint for your life. It's a blessing from Heavenly Father, basically to give you direction and comfort and guidance and warning sometimes, but it's supposed to direct you throughout your life. And I had read this blessing, I don't know how many times. I got it when I was 14 years old, and I was reading it then as a 30-something-year-old. So I'd read it hundreds, if not thousands of times. And that night, as I sat on my bed after I had said my prayers and asked God to let me know if I had any value to him, I read that blessing, which the words were so familiar. I knew those words. I had read them so many times. But as I read them that night, they had a special and a new significance. And it was almost like something that would happen in a movie. As I was reading, all of a sudden, the adjectives that were in that blessing seemed to come out in bold print and lift off of the page so that they were right in front of my eyes. And it was words like willing and loving and happy and powerful. I mean, these words just lifted off of the page in bold print and stood in front of my eyes. And I knew my prayer was being answered. And I thought, oh my goodness, these are the words that Heavenly Father used to describe me in this blessing. And so I grabbed a piece of paper and a pencil and I started writing them down. I mean, it was like somebody who hasn't had water, finally getting to water and just drinking it up. I was drinking up this feeling of possibly I have some worth. Maybe there is hope for me. And so I started to write these words. I wrote down, willing, helpful, happy, powerful, all of these different words that he used to describe me. And there was a huge list. There were all of these words that Heavenly Father had used to describe me, and I wrote them down. And that night when I went to bed, I felt hope for the first time in a really long time. And I felt like, maybe I do have value in this world. And maybe right now I can't see it, but if God can see it, then it must be there. And so the next day, I was going throughout my day, and those same feelings of depression and worthlessness crept in. I started thinking, you know what? Maybe I'm not worth much. I had a bad morning. I wasn't a good wife. I wasn't a good mother. I didn't have any plans for the day because I didn't have friends. I didn't have anything going on. And then I remembered what I had written down. And so I decided I am going to take one of those words and I am going to repeat it to myself every single time one of those negative thoughts creep in. And so every time that day when a negative thought came in, I just repeated, I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. And I just said it to myself over and over and over. And then the next day, those same negative thoughts kept coming in. You're worthless. You have no value. You don't bring anything good into this world. What is your life worth? Those thoughts came into my mind. And I brought in a new word. And I said, I am powerful. I am powerful. I am powerful. And I did that every single day. I went through the entire list and I fought all of those thoughts that were coming to me. And I don't know where those thoughts came from, but I fought all of those thoughts that were coming to me saying I wasn't worth anything. And I fought them with the words that Heavenly Father had given to me to let me know my value. I am loved. I am willing. I am powerful. I am happy. And I went through the entire list, one a day. And then when I got to the end, I went back to the top of the list and I went through them again. And it took months, guys. It was not immediate. What was immediate was the hope that maybe these things were true. But believing them took months. But it saved me. It saved my life. It saved me from wallowing in this despair of feeling like I had no value in this world, and helped me to realize maybe I do have potential. Maybe there is something more for me than feeling like this every single day. And so while it's not a prescription to solve depression for everyone in the world, and while it's not going to take away everyone's problems, this helped me so much, and I know it can help you. I would challenge you, if you have a patriarchal blessing, to go back through it and to find every single word that God uses to describe you. Maybe he describes you as wonderful or loved, or maybe as a great teacher or as a great friend or humble. Write down every single word he uses to describe you. And when negative thoughts come in, when you have overwhelming feelings of worthlessness or depression, choose one of those words and tell yourself over and over and over, I am a good friend. I am humble. I am powerful. Whatever those words are. Heavenly Father has written you this love letter, and I believe it is a parental love letter from heaven, and he wants you to know those things about you and to believe them. And I know there's so much power in that. I hope you guys can do this, that it can be a blessing to you guys. And patriarchal blessings are powerful. If you have been able to use your patriarchal blessing in a special or significant way, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Tell me what you've done to gain power from your patriarchal blessing. I hope that you guys like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you later.